Huawei has long been the butt of prepaid cell phone jokes across the continent, but they've really stepped up their game in recent years, offering compact smartphones with massive screens and striking designs. Their brand new Honor View 10 is one such device. It sports a laundry list of promising features, including a powerfully bright screen, headphone jack, a massive battery, 6 gigabytes of RAM, and almost unheard of amounts of storage. But is it all it's cracked up to be? Let's find out in today's First Look review video.
I'll pick this up and check this out.
While the Moto X Pure Edition set the bar for a well-proportioned phone, the View 10 actually one-ups it by shaving 1/20th of an inch off of the width and nearly halves the thickness, all while increasing the screen size by 5% and the battery capacity by 25%. The almost comical camera bulge hurts the overall sleekness of the design, but the View 10 holds up very well in the area of dimensions and ratios overall. I just wish that they could have incorporated some navigation buttons into this area here at the bottom, and maybe positioned the volume rocker in a more logical location. Almost nothing can compare to the Pure Edition's record-breaking 715 nit LCD, which itself was one of the best smartphone display surprises out of 2015. But at a benchmarked max of 507, there's little to complain about when it comes to the 10's panel aside from its rounded corners. While it is more forgivable on this particular handset due to the fact that the effect is less pronounced than what we saw on the horror show that was 2017's embarrassing mainstream smartphone lineup, it's still disheartening to see on a piece of equipment made in the last 25 years. Color calibration, as LCD-based devices go, is acceptable and also somewhat configurable in the software by way of profiles along with resolution scaling. While not as on point as the Moto X Pure, its display still does a respectable job, likely rivaling the late HTC One M7. Camera quality, as is often the case with so-called mid-range phones, did not impress. It's an unfortunate reality of the industry that if you're not one of the big name brands, it's very difficult to get a hold of quality sensors. Still, the Honor View 10 gives it a good effort with a showing that is on par with some of its budget-oriented rivals, and also the late Galaxy Note 2. Resolution is pretty high with a 16 megapixel RGB sensor and a bonus 20 megapixel monochrome unit, which combine with some feature-rich software to create over-sharpened images that are acceptable and sometimes even a bit strange, but little more than that. The stock software does let you shoot RAW, however, free of the confines of JPEG compression. The off-brand chipset isn't anything to write home about, but performance is adequate. Dual SIM standby capability is a nice touch, however its utility is severely limited by the device's lack of support for Verizon or Sprint. The international version, shown here, is even further locked down by only supporting 3G HSDPA+ on AT&T. Still, apples to apples signal strength was about on par with the Nexus 6, which itself is similar enough to the Pure Edition to prove that modern smartphones actually have to seriously screw up in order to disappoint in this area. Call quality, while not as good as the Motorola, is still plenty loud. The loudspeaker is nothing to write home about, but it works. Perhaps the biggest surprise in the area of audio came with the discovery that there are a number of sound optimizations baked into the software, which have predefined profiles for various different types of headphones, and also a system-wide equalizer. Volume level is probably 1 or 2 clicks below the Motorola, although the quality is practically indiscernible to me. The staggeringly massive 128 gigabytes of internal storage, however, is sufficient for even the most substantial of multimedia libraries. Thanks to the low-powered chipset and the above-average battery capacity, the thing runs for an eternity. 5 or more hours of screen-on time should not be unobtainable, even with a moderately worn internal battery pack. Say what you want about that discount chipset, but the battery life in this phone is nothing short of astounding. At the end of the day, the Honor View 10 is what I would classify as a high-end mid-ranger. With an intense focus on memory, storage, design, and longevity at the expense of camera quality, performance, and network diversity, it's a device that could be just perfect for a lot of people who are willing to overlook the unfamiliar name brand.
Turn it up!
It brings a crap ton of hardware and software features to the table, sometimes even to an overwhelming degree, so it's not for simpletons like myself. But if you like your phone Samsung in the front and Apple in the back, and you have $500 to spend on a brand new device, then the Huawei Honor 10 might just be the phone for you.